You ever find yourself maybe late at night just scrolling on your phone? And boom, there it is, dinner. Just a tap away.
Oh, absolutely. That instant craving satisfaction.
Exactly. And that convenience, well, it's really at the heart of a huge digital shift happening right now.
Mm.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into a really fast-growing slice of the global food delivery app market.
Okay.
Our mission, basically, is to unpack the biggest insights, maybe some surprising facts, and the key trends from a new forecast. This one's from Cognitive Market Research, and it looks all the way out to 2033.
Right. Looking quite far ahead.
Yeah, and while the whole global market is massive, billions, this specific segment shows, well, a pretty staggering growth path.
Yeah, the acceleration is what's really fascinating. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Back in 2021, this segment, it was pulling in about $120.65 million in revenue.
Okay, $120 million. And then just 4 years later, by 2025, it's projected to jump pretty significantly, right? To
Yeah.
$186.48 million.
Exactly. But then look further out to 2033. It's forecast to soar. We're talking
Yeah.
$445.49 million.
Wow, nearly $500 million.
Right. And that works out to a really robust compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, 11.5%.
11.5%.
I mean, this isn't just some small trend. It really signals a profound shift, right, in how people globally are ordering food. Convenience is just becoming, well, embedded.
That definitely sounds like a massive change in how people get their food pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
So where is this growth the strongest? Like, what regions are really popping?
Well, North America is projected to stay in the lead, revenue-wise, hitting over $182 million by 2033.
Okay.
But it's not just the current size. It's that we're still seeing consistent, double-digit growth. Take the U.S. It's expected to go from around $41.5 million in 2021 to over $142 million by 2033. That's a solid 10.87% CAGR.
Okay, so the U.S. is a huge driver.
Definitely. But Canada and Mexico are also showing strong, steady growth, too. Canada heading towards $22 million, Mexico near $18 million by 2033. It just shows this is becoming less of a novelty and more, well, a staple, a habit.
Right, a deeply ingrained habit. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe's also seeing some really solid growth, yeah? From about $31 million in 21 to over $111 million projected for 33. What's the story there?
Europe's interesting. It's kind of a mix. You have the established markets, the big players, Germany, the UK, France. They account for a lot of that revenue. Germany looking at $27 million, UK, $21 million, France, $14 million.
The usual suspects.
Pretty much. But what's really catching my eye is the healthy double-digit growth in places like Italy, Russia, Spain, and especially the acceleration in Eastern Europe, what they call rest of Europe. That segment's growing at almost 13%, 12.72% CAGR.
Interesting. So maybe like a leapfrog effect.
Exactly. It suggests these markets are adopting apps super quickly, maybe even skipping over some of the older ways and going straight to digital convenience.
Makes sense, especially as the tech gets better and cheaper. So that brings us to Asia Pacific, clearly gaining huge traction. Nearly $99 million expected by 2033, growing over 12% CAGR. What's happening there? It's such a diverse region.
Yeah, Asia-Pacific is a total powerhouse in this. China's leading, projected over $35 million. Japan close to $19 million.
Okay.
But the standout, the really explosive story is India. It's projected to go from just $2.55 million in 2021, get this, to over $11 million by 2033.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a 12.9% CAGR. And it's not just numbers, right? You've got a massive young population, super fast mobile internet adoption, a growing middle class just hungry for convenience.
Right, the perfect storm almost.
Totally. And we're seeing strong momentum elsewhere too. South Korea, Australia, Singapore, Southeast Asia. And kind of surprisingly, Taiwan actually shows the fastest growth in the region, a 13.43% CAGR, hitting maybe $3.5 million by 2033.
Taiwan. Okay, that is surprising. Must be some unique market conditions there.
Definitely something specific happening there.
Hyper adoption, maybe.
Okay, what about South America? How do they fit into this global picture?
South America's on a steady climb. Projected to grow from just under $6 million in 21 to over $20 million by 33.
Solid growth. Yeah, Brazil leads the pack there, expected to be nearly $9.1 million of that $20 million. But you're also seeing consistent growth, over 10% CAGR in places like Argentina, Colombia, Peru.
And what's driving that? Similar factors?
Pretty much. It's closely tied to, growing cities, more urban populations, and just more people getting affordable smartphones and mobile access, making these apps way more accessible.
Got it. Okay, and the Middle East. That region's seen some crazy tech leaps recently. Are food delivery apps part of that?
Oh, absolutely. The Middle East market is showing a really strong upward curve. expected to grow from about $5.2 million in 21 to over $21 million by 33.
Okay.
Key markets are Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the UAE. The UAE alone is projected to hit $4.42 million, and that's growing at an impressive 13.24% CAGR.
Wow.
Yeah, and what's interesting is even the smaller economies like Qatar and the rest of the Middle East, they're gaining serious ground. That rest of the Middle East group is actually forecast to have the highest growth in the region, nearly 14%, 13.91% CAGR.
So the demand for this convenience is pretty much universal then. Doesn't matter the size of the economy.
Seems like it is really taking hold everywhere.
Okay, so we're seeing strong growth pretty much across the board. But if we're talking pure raw growth potential, there's one continent that seems to stand out, hinting at maybe the biggest transformations still to come.
You're absolutely right. If you look at where the biggest percentage leap might happen, it's Africa.
Okay.
It's set to jump from just $2.53 million in 2021 to a projected $11.77 million by 2033. That is a market-leading COGR of almost 14%, 13.99% actually.
14%, that's huge. Which countries are leading that?
Nigeria and South Africa are the current powerhouses.
Yeah.
Nigeria heading towards $5 million, South Africa maybe $5.7 million. But the rest of Africa, all those other nations, also adding over $1 million combined.
And what's fueling that particularly high growth rate in Africa?
It's largely driven by mobile-first internet access. Lots of people getting online, primarily through their phones. And there's also been a real surge in local food tech investment. So the phone is becoming this direct gateway, to new services and economic opportunities.
Okay, so we've mapped out the world, seen where the growth is hottest, but what's really fueling this fire? Like, what are the underlying forces making this happen?
Well, it's really a powerful mix of things coming together.
Yeah.
You've got the big picture trends, right? Massive digital transformation everywhere, changing lifestyles. People are just busier. And definitely the lingering preference from the pandemic for contactless options.
Right, convenience and safety.
Exactly. But then there's the tech itself. It's constantly redefining what users expect. Think about like real-time tracking.
Yeah.
You know exactly where your pizza is.
Essential now?
Totally. Or seamless digital wallets, subscription discounts that keep you coming back. And what I think is really revolutionary, AI-based menu personalization.
Okay, AI personalization. That sounds fancy. How does that actually work for, the average person ordering dinner? And why is it such a big deal?
It's all about making the experience hyper-personal. Like, imagine the app starts suggesting dishes you might love based on what you've ordered before, maybe your location, time, day, even what other people like you are ordering nearby.
So it kind of knows what you want before you do.
Sort of. It makes discovering new things effortless, keeps you engaged, keeps you ordering. The app becomes less like a menu and more like a personal food guide.
Yeah, I can see how that would be sticky. And then behind the scenes, there's all the infrastructure, right? Like cloud kitchens, the gig economy.
Yeah.
That makes it all work at scale.
Exactly right. Cloud kitchens, basically restaurants with no storefront, just kitchens optimized for delivery. They let companies scale up super fast, serve wider areas without the huge costs of a traditional restaurant. It makes app delivery way more efficient.
Makes sense.
But, it's not all just smooth sailing and easy growth. The market definitely faces some real hurdles.
Okay, like what are the main challenges as this thing gets bigger globally?
Well, you've got complex regulations, and they vary wildly from country to country, sometimes even city to city. Everything from labor laws for delivery drivers to food safety rules.
Right, the regulatory patchwork.
Then there are real gaps in delivery infrastructure, such as in some of the emerging markets we talked about, needs creative solutions. And finally, the competition is just fierce, often based purely on price. So actually making money, profitability can be tough.
So constant innovation is key then, not just nice to have, but essential.
Absolutely crucial. You have to keep finding ways to add value, retain users, and operate efficiently to survive, let alone thrive.
So thinking about that need for innovation, what's next? What's the next evolution for these apps look like in the coming years?
We're definitely going to see them move beyond just restaurant meals. Think about in-app grocery delivery becoming much more common, maybe pharmacy items too. They already have the logistics network, right?
Leverage the network. Makes sense.
Yeah. Also, expect a bigger push on sustainability. Green packaging mandates, more eco-friendly options, that's going to become a bigger factor.
Good.
And interestingly, voice-assisted ordering is likely to be a bigger thing. Ordering your food just by talking to your smart speaker or your phone. Even more hands-free.
Wow, just talking to the air and food appears.
Pretty much. Integrating even more smoothly into our lives.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. What does this all mean for us, the people actually using these apps and maybe for the bigger picture. It feels like this segment of the food delivery app market is becoming, well, a global staple. It's fast, it's flexible, it's definitely future focused.
Absolutely. I mean, whether you're sitting in New York or New Delhi or Lagos or Berlin, these apps are fundamentally changing not just what we eat, but how our economies actually function in this digital-first world. It really taps into that deep, universal human desire for convenience.
It really does. So here's something to chew on, maybe. As these apps keep weaving themselves deeper into our daily lives, moving beyond just restaurants, integrating with tech like voice AI, how might they actually reshape the physical infrastructure and, I guess, the daily rhythm of our cities and communities over the next decade? That's the really interesting question to watch, isn't it? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really digging into the global food delivery app market. Not just the surface stuff, but the surprising shifts happening underneath.
Yeah, it's a fascinating space.
We're looking at sources like the global food delivery app market, growth and challenges, and the plan is, well, to give you a shortcut, a quick way to get truly up to speed on this incredibly fast-moving industry.
And fast-moving is definitely the right term. The scale here is just massive. We're talking about a market that pulled in around $120.65 million back in 2021.
Okay, so 2021.
Right. And the projection, it's expected to, well, basically explode to $445.49 million by 2033.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an 11.5% compound annual growth rate.
Yeah.
So think about that growing over a tenth on average every single year. North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, they're really leading the pack right now.
Those numbers are pretty staggering. It really does paint a picture of just relentless growth. I mean, I even think about my own habits, how much they've changed. Delivery used to feel like a treat. Now it's almost, standard. So it feels kind of obvious why it's surging, but what are the key things really pushing this beyond just our busy lives?
Well, you've hit on a big part of it. Lifestyle is huge, the daily hustle. More dual-income households needing convenience, speed, and interestingly, contactless delivery preference seems to have stuck around post-pandemic.
Right.
But a massive underlying driver is the sheer expansion of restaurant collaborations. It's not just your typical dine-in places anymore. You've got cloud kitchens, virtual brands popping up all over.
Ah, okay, cloud kitchens. That's where it gets really interesting, isn't it? How do they fundamentally change the game, the economics, for restaurants?
It's a total game changer. Because these cloud kitchens, sometimes called dark kitchens or ghost kitchens, they let restaurants experiment with new concepts, new cuisines, with way less overhead.
No storefront.
Exactly. No storefront, no front-of-house staff, just kitchen space, purely optimized for delivery. They exist, essentially, just inside the app. It lowers the barrier to entry dramatically, speeds up innovation. And then you layer on the tech side. Smart technology, AI-powered logistics, real-time tracking, optimizing routes. It all works together to cut delivery times, boost efficiency. That makes customers happier, and drivers too, ideally. Think about AI figuring out the fastest route during peak hours that gets your food to you hotter, quicker.
Yeah, that combination of convenience and tech, it sounds almost unstoppable. But like with any rapid growth, there've got to be some growing pains, right?
Yeah.
What are the biggest headwinds these platforms are actually facing?
Oh, absolutely. The hurdles are pretty clear, and they're causing some real friction. High commission fees, that's a big one.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, they often run between, say, 15% and 30% per order. That really eats into margins, especially for smaller independent places. It's causing some to rethink the whole partnership model.
So they might try to go it alone.
Some are, yeah, launching their own direct delivery. Then you've got the whole driver retention issue. It's the gig economy model, right? Variable earnings, policy shifts. It makes it tough to keep a stable, reliable driver fleet. And that pushes up operational costs for the platforms.
Okay.
And finally, you just have saturation, especially in cities. So many apps, often offering very similar things.
Okay.
It's hard to stand out unless you have something really unique or, deep pockets for marketing.
Right. It's a tough balancing act, keeping restaurants happy, drivers happy, and fighting for customers in this crowded space. But despite those challenges, you still sound pretty optimistic. It sounds like some key trends are reshaping things.
Yeah, I think the outlook is promising, but it really hinges on how the industry adapts and, frankly, drives some major trends. We're seeing subscription loyalty programs becoming really powerful.
Like delivery passes.
Exactly. Unlimited deliveries, discounts, great for locking customers in. Then, as we mentioned, the continued growth of dark or ghost kitchens, they're enabling a whole new wave of delivery-only brands by slashing those overheads.
Makes sense.
And increasingly, sustainability is becoming, well, almost table stakes. Eco-friendly packaging, exploring carbon-neutral deliveries, using electric bike fleets.
Yeah.
It's part of the value proposition now. You, as the user, are increasingly choosing brands that align with your values. It's not just about speed anymore.
Conscious consumption meeting convenience.
Precisely.
So wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you, the listener? It feels like the food delivery market is stepping into a totally new phase. Convenience, tech, and this growing consciousness they're all colliding, really shaping what's next for how we get our food. It's evolving faster than I can decide on dinner.
It really is. And that brings up a final thought, something for you to chew on. Given all this, the growth, the tech, the push for sustainability, how do you see the balance shifting? The balance between pure convenience, the cost, and maybe those ethical considerations. How might that reshape your dining habits and this whole delivery landscape over the next, say, 10 years?